All right, here we are. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. I am your host, Mike S. Miller. This is Cross Examinations. No, I had it muted. All right. Welcome to Monday. First things first, we'd like to offer our condolences to Matthew Perry's family and friends. He was a part of all. I don't want to say all of our lives, but those of us who grew up in the 80s, 90s, watched 90210 once a week for 10 years. Yeah, that's, it's funny. People in the media become part of your lives. Oh my gosh, that means I'm part of your life, except in a more intimate way because you can actually talk to me. So yeah, interesting stuff. No sound? Oh. But yeah, he's gone on. He went on to other things. I don't want to drag it out. Yeah. Oh yeah, Luke Perry. Did I say Matthew Perry? Who's Matthew Perry? Wow. Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm not as broken up about it as I was about uh, um, what's his face from Davy Jones from the Monkees. That broke me up inside. I think maybe because I was a little older, and I wasn't Team Dylan on 90210, but he seemed like a cool guy. He did a lot of stuff, and I guess he was a for those, my daughter would know him from Riverdale because gosh, she watched that god awful show. But hey, Chandler Bing, Matthew Perry's Chandler Bing, right? I'm getting my Perrys mixed up. Matthew's still around. Um, but anyways, just wanted to start with that. Condolences. Our buddy Critias in the space, his aunt passed away yesterday too. So death. It's part of life. It's part of life. Yeah. The rumors of Matthew Perry's death have been greatly exaggerated, and I apologize for starting them. Anyways, yesterday's show didn't have much in the way of. Gosh darn it. You know what? That Captain Marvel reviews video has 87 comments. I'm not going to read those on this show. But man, that thing is smoking. It's only been up for a day and a half. It's got 80. Let me refresh. 8,870 views in 36 hours, maybe 36 hours. So, all right, let's go back to yesterday's show, which was "That's Not What Church Was For," and the comments consisted of one. WK says, because I asked, what should I do? This is what, the 90th episode today? Yeah, 90th episode, so 10 more episodes, and we'll hit 100. WK says, in true comic book fashion, how about a double-sized episode 100? 2 hours with special guest stars who fight you because of a misunderstanding before you eventually team up. Okay, maybe not that last bit. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. A double-sized, a 2-hour 100th episode. That could be cool. That could be cool indeed. And so as I do, or as I have decided to do, when I do not have many comments to begin the first half of the show, because as you know, we usually do about first half comments and then comments on the comments. I'm going to read a bit of the book of Isaiah. I'm going to start at Isaiah 1. And bear with me, this is a prophetic book, so it may get a little heady. So Isaiah 1:1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, king of the Hittites, I believe, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Oh, different. All right, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. This is a good indication of like books that were canonized in the Old Testament. They had to be prophetic in nature. They had to, in fact, there's only one book in all of the Old Testament that has no actual prophecy in it. And prophecy has to come as a saying of the Lord. And this is one of the ways you say it. The Lord hath spoken. And then you say what the Lord has spoken unto the prophet. I think it's the book of Ruth, if I remember correctly, it has no prophecy in it. Or is it the book of Esther? It's one of those short woman. So I think it's Ruth or Esther. Can't remember. Anyways, let me keep going here. I just got another comment on that Captain Marvel video. Boy. The Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Who's he talking about? Who's he talking about? The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart is faint. 6. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. What an odd thing to say, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers. I kind of want to open that up. Hold on a second. Mission, besieged city, as large in a garden of cucumbers. Cucumbers? A place or field. Miksha, a place or field of cucumbers. Literally a cucumber field. Okay. I'm sure that means something that I just don't quite comprehend. A lodge? Is there something wrong with a garden of cucumbers? I mean, like a field, a cucumber patch. I know Ethan would start saying, hey, Mike, you like these cucumbers? But I don't think that's even the problem. Wow, that's strange. It's like one of those things you want to sit there and contemplate, or try to figure out what the historical context is, because obviously it's not seen as a good thing, right? The daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard. Well, I guess that's not even a bad thing. A cottage in a vineyard. What is the context here of why that seems besieged? Why would a cottage in a vineyard or a lodge in a cucumber patch seem as a besieged city? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to figure it out. The Bible. Sometimes you're like, what the heck does that mean? And I don't want to sit here and think about it for an hour while I try to figure it out. If anybody has any comments or understanding, hit me up with that one. Or a historical context of why that would seem like a besieged city. 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Meaning, if there weren't a few if there weren't a few righteous people, God would have wiped out Israel, or should have wiped out Israel. Hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he goats. When ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand, to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. I'll keep reading because this is just gets into it more. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear you. Your hands are full of blood. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Uh, so yeah, if you're not getting the point here, these are Jews, right? He's berating Israel right here. But obviously, even though they are falling into sin, even though they are living lives of sin, they are still practicing the traditions. They're practicing the new moon feast, the prayers, and they're doing all of the religious parts of their faith, but they are ignoring the faith parts of their faith. So, okay, I guess they're doing the religious parts of they're doing religion. They're not doing faith, I guess is the easiest way to put it, right? And that's why, in the scriptures, it says that all our works are unto him as filthy rags, right? And the filthy rags described in Greek means menstrual cloths. So all our works, no matter how much we work and how much we toil and how much we try to work our way into heaven, it's all God looks at that as we would look at used menstrual cloths. In other words, gross. Doesn't matter. What God loves is when your work is done out of faith and joy and love, right? You do your works not because there's some tradition handed down to you by your parents and your parents' parents going back generations. Not because of that, but because it's out of love and respect for God. And it is your heart. It is your heart that produces these works. It is not it's not something you do because you think it's going to get you into heaven, right? Your oblations, your new moons and Sabbaths, your calling of assembly, you're going to church, calling of assemblies, going to church, your sacrifices, your tithes, your offerings, none of it matters if you do not have a love for God. This is what they're teaching in Isaiah, and I wish more people would understand that. Isaiah 118. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Saith the Lord, though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. How is the faithful city become an harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Thy silver is become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Thy princes are rebellious, and thy companions of thieves. Every one loves gifts and follows after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doth they the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel. I think that's like the Trinity right there, right? Because he's saying this 3 times. Therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel. Ah, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed, for they shall be ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired, and ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen. For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that hath no water. And the strong shall be as tow. I want to know what that means. The strong shall be as tow. The strong shall be as tow. Phrase. A strand of flax. Tow, shaken from at flax when beaten. Oh. Shaken from the flax when beaten. Okay. That's what tow is. A strand of flax. It's good to do this on Blue Letter Bible because I can just go right to the I can go directly to the source. And the maker of it as a spark, and they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them. That was Isaiah 1. I honestly didn't know what I was going to get out of that, but I think that was a good little lesson for everyone. Now explain what flax is. Tow, T-O-W, a strand of flax. So flax is like a grain, right? Flax is a grain. So I think flax. Oh. Oh no. Here. It's oh, I'm thinking of flax seed. No, it's like it's a plant that is fibrous that can be dried and used like to make fiber, rope, probably clothing. And so a strand of flax would just be like a strand of fine fibrous plant material. Since you asked. Yeah, flaxseed oil is used in painting, oil painting. All right. Let me pop out the chat. Let's talk about Isaiah, shall we, for a bit, and then we will get into the topic of the day. Born this way? They make linseed oil from seeds too. Yes. And by the way, please do hit that like button, hit that share button. Let people out there in the Twitterverse or the Facebook land know you're in here enjoying some Bible time fellowship with me and your fellow cross-examiners. All right. Let's scroll up to see. Hello to everyone. Tron, Lloyd, Perkindo, McGee, Withheld, Black Wolf, Hellstorm, Cyborg, Dennis, Tippy Tail, Brian, Church, Milkman, Cyborg again, Hikaru, and everyone else whom I'm just gonna start repeating names at this point. All right. Back to Raythulu says, imagine the rows of vines and vegetables to be lines of soldiers. Then it resembles a city surrounded by besiegers. Yeah, I think that might be the illustration they're making, because it is vines and cucumbers grow on vines. Cucumbers and grapes both grow on vines, and you have to grow them. I'm trying to picture it because you have to grow them on a rigging, right? So if you're farming vines of either sort, as the illustration goes, yeah, you are essentially surrounded by grapes or cucumbers. So glad Ethan's not here. But yeah, surrounded by besiegers. That could be right. That could be that does seem to be the picture, right, Thulu. Thank you. Watchman says a surrounding of the house vines that are full of veggie grapes is an encampment of multitudes. Similar concept. Don't be mean to the juice. Nathan says, Mike, did you see the video of the African preacher who was arrested in the UK for preaching the gospel in the streets? No, I did not see that. I did not. Boy, you just do not have freedom of speech in the land of the Magna Carta. It's really, really sad. Withheld rather not say says the fields of cucumbers is symbolic of a city or nation that has fallen into, I think you mean decadence, and the daughter of Zion is the church. Well, in this case, it's not the church. It's the remnant of faithful believers in Israel. So they're the Jews. You could call them the synagogue. This is taking place in a specific time. Cyborg says they're going through the motions for their own sake instead of actually expressing faith. Yeah, or they're believing in their traditions rather than in the God whose traditions are supposed to rest upon, right? They're nominal Jews. You would have said they're nominal Jews the way you see nominal Christians today, nominal Catholics or lapsed Catholics, however they call it. But people who think that, well, I was born this way. I was born this way. That's funny. That's funny. This is what today's topic is. People who think, can you stop trying to interrupt? And thank you. People who think being born into a church or being born into a lineage or something, and then just kind of I'm locked up. Can you guys hear me? Why am I locked up? Why am I locked up? Testing. Can you hear? Oh, wow, that was weird. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, people who are relying on anything other than an actual faith and an actual personal relationship with God. Yeah, they are just going through motions, right, Cyborg? Comic Book Bob complaining that he still has no Lone Star. I'm waiting for more envelopes. I thought they'd be here by now, but hopefully they'll be here today or tomorrow. I need more mailers. I need more mailers. Ahoy, church bell, rip Bob. You gotta have faith. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Hello, everybody saying hello. I've been wondering if I truly love God. Withheld rather not say asks. Oh, what a deep and meaningful question. Can you please stop trying to interrupt? This is Bible time, Micah, not cat time. Don't kill the cat. Just close the door. Stop. I'm gonna lock the door. As adorable as that is, it's very disrupting to my train of thought. I've been wondering if I truly love God. Well, that's a choice. That is a choice. It's not a feeling. You choose. The Bible says that if you love me, you obey me, right? Um, you love, you show that you love by choosing to love. You choose to love by choosing to obey. And but you're not doing it for yourself, and you're not doing it um, out of fear that you're going to hell or anything. It's like, if I love my mom, then once in a while I got to pick up that phone and call her and make sure she's okay, and see if she wants to do something and get together, right? It's not it's the action of, I mean, you could say obedience, right? Being obedient to how a person who loves another person should behave. I don't know if that's confusing at all, but don't confuse love as a feeling with love as a commitment, right? Because feelings, the Bible says the heart is evil and desperately wicked, right? The heart changes. It's like, honestly, your heart can be subject to what do you call them? Not steroids. What am I thinking of? Ah, oh, my mind is a blank. Your body chemistry changes throughout the day. Okay, if you're a dude, your body chemistry. This is a weird thing, difference between men and women, because there is a difference between men and women. Men's body chemistry changes throughout the day. Um, Women's body chemistry changes throughout the month, right? Women have a 28-day cycle, and it's biology, and their body chemistry changes throughout that time, which means their body chemistry can affect their feelings. Their feelings can change throughout that cycle. Men have a daily chemical cycle. It's I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you may I don't really want to get into the how this is expressed in a physical form, generally speaking, but pay attention to it. You'll notice it if you pay attention to it. You'll notice it. Men have a daily cyclical chemical cycle that they go through, and so your feelings may change even throughout the day, and a woman's feelings may change throughout the month. So you can't base truths and objective things like commitments to love, commitments to obedience, and whatnot, um, on feelings. So please don't confuse the two. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, because I just don't really want to delve too much into that. Let me scroll down and see if you understand what I'm saying at all. Oh, stray hairs. That was not necessary. Daily man periods. uh Testosterone, yeah. Hormones. Thank you, Cyborg. That was the word I was looking for. I could not place it. Uh, yeah. My cycle is, I'm awake, I'm at work, I have to drive home, nap time. You game YouTube. Oh crap, it's a cycle. All right, let me scroll back up. So yeah, in saying that, if you love God, then obey Him. If you don't know if you love God, or if you doubt that you love God, if you want to love God, then act on that, right? You want to love someone, then act as if you're trying to live that out. Just the fact that you want to love God would indicate to me that you love God, right? because it is a commitment. I want to commit to this person. That doesn't mean, look, like, call it a relationship with a friend, right? You love your friend, but that doesn't mean you always like your friend, right? Some days you like them, some days you don't. Heck, some hours you might like them, some hours you don't. You don't have to have a constant infatuation with a friend to genuinely love that person, right? But if they are in need, um, if you'd made commitments to them, love means helping them with their needs, taking care of their needs, um, in right ways, right? Not in welfare sort of ways, but like helping them, um, fulfilling your commitments to them. That's love. So love as an action, love as commitment is more important, um, than the feeling part, right? And I'm sure it was the same thing with the Jews. It's like, I love God. That doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean I always feel like I am filled with the Holy Spirit and my hairs are standing on end and I'm walking around in illumination, right? But it means that when I get paid and I'm like, I I feel obligated to tithe because I love God, and it is an obligation. It's a commitment I've made, and I'm doing it because I know that I love God. I'm not begrudgingly going, "Oh, I have to pay God again." You know? It's like I do it and I know I'm doing it for God and I'm doing it for his kingdom, and it I get something out of it too. It makes me feel good that I'm helping God to build his kingdom because I love him, right? So, I don't know. I don't want to grind this topic into the down ground, but I think it was important to spend some time on it. Mm-mm-mm. Yay, everyone could hear me through the weird thing. I'm trying to get back up to where we were. Gosh darn it, how high up were we? La 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 la. Obedience is better than sacrifice, saith the Lord. Hey, stop, okay? Golly. Can't they just give me an hour? Hi, Jill. City of Noise. Neons. Oh, Zion. Neons. Judgment starts in the house of God. Toe. Shredded rope. Shredded rope. Used to chink up gaps in walls or hulls. Now explain what flags is. Hairnets for Mike. Oh, stop. Gosh, one stray hair makes it into a package and people give me crap. No. Sorry. Trying to find a good comment. I don't care about Graveyard Shift Comics Legend. Not right now. Get back from Hibachi. Try not to fall asleep. Cucumbers. Decadence. White cops called the African preacher racist. Jeremiah, apparently I backed the Lone Star Confiscate cover twice. Oh man, you know what? You wouldn't be the first person who got 2 copies. I don't know how that happened, but there's some people who got 2 copies, even though they weren't like canceled or redundant. Anyways, we can talk about that later. But if you have a second copy, hey, put it up on eBay. There's people that want it. So, all right. Let me skip past all this. Cyborg says, but you can obey for reasons other than love. You can obey out of fear. Exactly. Yeah. Why would out of fear not be okay? Are you a father, March? Would you rather your children obey you because they love you or because they fear repercussion? Right? I was praying on my walk today, and I was thinking that how we love God. Um, I was just thanking him for my kids and how proud I am of my kids. You know, not not for anything they've done. They haven't done anything yet, right? They're kids. Um, but just for the kind of people that they are, you know, great, loving kids. They're all great. I love them to death. And my pride in them, again, it isn't about what they do, and I want God to love me the way I love my kids, and wouldn't be about what I do, but about who I am in him. I am his child. I am God's child. He has adopted me, and it is a relationship born of love and sacrifice. He sacrificed for me, and I love him, so I sacrifice for him. And it is love is doing things for each other, right? It is wanting what is best for the other. That is love. I want what is best for God and his kingdom. God wants what is best for me. And so when you do things out of that type of love, it means something to God. When you do something because you're doing it out of fear of going to hell, what does that mean to God? What does it mean as a father if the only reason your child does his chores is because if he doesn't, you will beat him? Right? Obedience out of love is of immensely, immensely greater value than obedience out of fear. So that is why Dark Admiral March Hare. All right, I'm going to skip past all of that, and let's go to the topic of the day, which is Born This Way. See if I can make sure this computer seems to be doing weird things. Why is my computer doing weird things? Like not opening the article that I had up. Not trying to bring my hang-ups here. Yeah, brother. I know. No, don't think of it like that. Lived nearly half my life in fear of my dad. I know it's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, so you understand exactly what I'm telling or what I'm saying, right? Um, wouldn't it have been much better to live all of your life just in a loving relationship rather than in fear? I mean, that's how you have to pay it forward to your children, right? You don't want them to live in fear of getting something wrong. You want them to do things right out of a love for you and a desire for you to be proud of them, right? Uh, yeah. I'm not Perkindo. This is the PC that's chugging up, so don't give me that. It's not the Apple. Ha ha ha. Let me see. Application window. Share. Once again brought to you by ChristianHeadlines.com. Kindergartners learn are born this way. Participated in an annual event to support transgender and gender studies Thursday by reading I Have Story of Jazz Jennings, who was a transgender child. In some schools, like Ashlawn Elementary School in Arlington, Virginia, the book was read to kindergartners. You got it, Hare. I have a girl brain, but a boy body. This is called transgender. I was born this way. Sarah McBride, a transgender person and a spokesperson for the Human Rights Campaign, read to kindergartners from the book. The Washington Post covered McBride's talk to the children in kindergarten. I'm like Jazz, McBride told the children when done reading. When I was born, the doctors and my parents, they all thought I was a boy. McBride asked the students, Can some girls have short hair? And can some boys have long hair? One girl responded, Anyone can be anything. The fourth annual Jazz and Friends National Day of School and Community Indoctrination was sponsored by HRC, a gay rights group, and the National Miseducational Association, the nation's largest teachers' union. Teachers' unions should all burn. The event spotlights transgender and gender expansive students. Other books on the list: Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. They, She, He, Me, Freebie, To Be, Poopy, by Maya and Matthew Smith Gonzalez. James Foster, an openly gay man, teaches the kindergartners at Ashland Elementary. When he began teaching 20 years ago, he couldn't discuss his sexuality to his students. I was told I had to stop being that advocate, but I had to go back into the closet, because it wasn't really safe, Foster told the Post. You could be fired. Lily Eckelson Garcia, president of the NEA, said the annual event is more important in light of the Trump administration's position on the issue. After President Trump took office, his administration rescinded Obama-era guidelines that said public school students should be allowed to use whichever restroom they wish. Yeah. Every child in America has the fundamental right to feel safe, welcome, and valued in our nation's public schools, Garcia said. As educators, by standing with transgender and non-binary students on Jazz and Friends National Day of School and Community Readers, we are sending a powerful message of inclusion, love, and support. Now more than ever, we need to do what is right for our most vulnerable students and continue to strive towards becoming more acceptable and protective in light of the efforts by the Trump administration to threaten and marginalize them. Kindergarteners learn transgender kids are born this way. This is child abuse. I'm not sorry, says Kathy Stark. This is child abuse. You guys know where I stand on this issue. And I'm not going to insult my transgender fans or my gay fans, of which I do have many. You know, as adults, you make your own decisions in life. The idea, though, that you are going to indoctrinate freaking kindergartners, into this line of thinking is a no. Cyborg Patriot says, then I feel the need to say this. This is insanity. Educating your kids about what gay, lesbian, and transgender people are should be up to the parents, and only when the kids are ready. Yeah, there should be no sex education of any shape, size, or measure in freaking kindergarten. This is insanity. This is insanity. Absolute propagandistic. Uh, oh, drives me nuts. I was having this conversation. Actually, I have it on here. I had this conversation with a member in our community here in Comicsgate. As you know, we have people of all stripes, all shapes and sizes and derivations and proclivities in Comicsgate because it's just about comic books. It's not about ideology, right? So, new Twitter logo. So I was having this conversation with someone whom I knew had a transgender child. And he said that I could share this conversation should the topic come up. So I'm going to read it. I said, so you have a trans son. And he says, I'm not going to say who it is, but he says, cool, yeah. And I do have a trans son. He, or she back then, came out as a lesbian after about 6 or 7 years ago. And that changed to being trans about 4 years ago. As a father, it's a hard thing to deal with, but I did. I'm not saying it was easy. It was a hard thing to come to terms with. It's a lot like losing a child. Like your daughter has died and there's this new person there instead. I don't normally talk about it, so I don't know why I'm telling you this to a virtual stranger. But if you want to know more about dealing with something like this, I kind of feel okay about talking with you about it. It's certainly a mind-blowing thing to go through. By the way, for the record, he really hates all this SJW identity politics intersectional crap as much as we do. And I said, I was curious what you thought about causality. From my personal experience with friends with trans children, they have a similarity in familial dynamics, where the father is the nurturing, loving parent, and the mother is the disciplinarian, the career-centric parent, if they still have both parents. So I was curious if your experience is similar or no. He responds, well, my ex-wife went back to work when my kid was 3, so I raised her. When we split up, she walked out on myself and then my daughter. My then daughter. It's still hard doing the whole son-daughter thing. I was always the nurturing, loving parent without a doubt. We're all friends now, and my son, yes, it's son, not daughter, I'm not still confused, honest, gravitated back to her when he got older. Your observances seem to be accurate so far. By the way, if you ever want to share or cite any of this stuff, feel free. And I said, well, let me tell you my experience, and this is an experience I have. Am I locked up again? This is getting a bit frustrating. Am I locked up again, or can you hear me, see me, hear me? Hello? Let me know, because I'm really slow. I don't know. I'm back. All right. I told him, well, let me tell you my experience. When I was in my early 20s, I had developed a love for my friend, and it was a more intense love than I had ever had for another friend, and it was a confusing feeling. I told him about it, and he told me it was brotherly love. It was the weirdest thing. That emotion, which was confusing, was suddenly clear, like a key in a lock. I understood it. But it was such an intense emotion that had my friend been gay, he might have persuaded me to that direction. I don't know what effect understanding why your daughter identified with you, a man, because you were the nurturing, loving parent, but it might trigger something in her that would give her a better understanding of that choice. Boy, that reads weird. You understand what I'm saying, though. Yeah, he gets it. And thanks for the advice. My relationship with my new son plays on my mind. I'm loving and accepting, but it's just, I don't know. It's hard to express. All I can do is be there for him and show I love him no matter what. And conditional love is a roller coaster. So it seems to be to me in every experience, because I had this experience with another friend whose daughter decided she was a boy, um who had shaved her head, and my friend was bald, right? And I'm just looking at I'm and I'm like, you know why she shaved her head? I'm like, she has identified with you, because I went through this little exercise with him too, and he was absolutely the nurturing, loving parent. The mother was the disciplinarian until she left her daughter with him, and then she became a lesbian, and then ultimately she became trans, and then she shaved her head because she was identifying so much with her father, who was also bald. Um, and it was like just uh, such a patently obvious procedural almost situation. It boggled my mind that he didn't see it. Um, but yeah, ask your if you have friends, or if you are in this situation yourself. Um, does that do all those things correlate? Do you think it's all psychological? Asks Force Ghost Burt Reynolds. I haven't met every child and every parent of transgender. I'm just saying I know several people in this situation, families in this situation, and they all fit the same psychological profile. So in my experience, it has been 100%, right? Um, but that is not, although there's no although to it. God, why is this chugging like this? This PC, can you still hear me? So ask people in this situation, or if you know them well, and is their situation. Um, then yeah, in that sense, I think it is it's practically a program. You could probably you could probably wager money. Um, anyways, YouTube doesn't want the stream to continue. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Let's see how far along we are, anyways, because we only got 8 minutes left. Got 8 minutes left. Let's see what you guys think about this situation. No, 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 no. Do I know the origin of Born This Way? I don't know specifically what you're talking about, Liam. I don't know specifically what you're talking about. All I remember about kindergarten is coloring and recess and cookies and milk and singing. And that's all you should remember. And how to add, single digit numbers. That's kindergarten. You shouldn't be nothing in the realm of sexuality should ever make its way into a kindergarten classroom. Ah, brother. Hank Hill says that boy ain't right. Da, 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 da. Whatever you are born as is what you will always be. Body dysmorphia is a mental illness that can be treated. Yeah, that's the thing. There's no such thing. Actually, there is. There is such a thing as a female brain, and there's such a thing as a male brain. But you know who has female brains is females, and who has male brains are males. Your Not your brain, but your mind. If your mind and your body disagree on what your sex is, it's not your body that's wrong. It's your mind. It is a mental illness. I mean, whether or not you like the term, it is accurate. You are deluded by definition into believing something that is not factually true. How you deal with that, why you deal with that, as adults, that is up to up to you as an adult. But as children, I don't know. That's why I gave the example of me having that strong emotion with my friend that could have been manipulated in the wrong direction. But understanding, and that's why it's a weird thing in Greek. There's the 4 different words for love, but in America we say love is love, and I'm like, no, love is not love. You don't love your kids the way you love your wife. You don't love your mom the way you love your friend. Love has categories, and but all love is a very powerful emotion, and it can be manipulated, right? Like we were saying, the heart is desperately wicked, and you can if you you can fit that square peg into that round hole, uh because the emotion is so powerful, and if you're confused, you may put it in the wrong place. But if you somehow come to the understanding, if you understand that love isn't love, love has its proper and appropriate place, right? And if you love someone, you want to love them in the appropriate manner, to fulfill what that love was created for. Love is a wonderful, amazing thing, and everyone should love everyone else, and a man should love another man. But you want that love to be in the right column, right? The wrong column, and it's not the purposeful love that God created it for. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. My ancestors in ancient Greeks were bisexuals. They invented lesbianism and maybe sodomy. Dang, old Greeks and Sodom stole it from us. I think Sodom was probably before Greece there. You don't love your cousin. You just don't. You do, but you just have to apply the correct definition of love. You love spaghetti. You don't want to marry it. Yeah, that's right. You don't eros spaghetti. Never, ever eros spaghetti, because that gets messy real quick. It's been reported that gay men have female brains. No, that's just bad science. That is bad science. And also, what you're looking at generally is like autopsies, right? It the brain is altered through use, right? Like someone who lives a predominantly violent life, it may not be because they were born violent, but they were trained into violence, right? And so as they grow more and more violent, or they live through that sort of a lifestyle, it does alter their brain. It alters their chemistry. It alters how their brain's going to look at an autopsy. Well, the same thing applies to anything in life. If you're more of a bookish person, different parts of your brains are going to develop. If you're more of an artistic person, more of your different parts of your brains are going to develop. These are all you're getting cause and effect backwards, right? It's not like you're born with highly developed particular parts of your brain. Your brain develops as you develop, and as you learn, and as you grow as a human being. Watermelons are food, not friends. Correct. Low T and high estrogen, small balls and weak-minded fools. Okay, well, let's see. You don't have to say no homo to tell your brother you love him. No, you don't have to say it. uh, oh, I don't know. I don't see it. Let's see. Cyborg Patriot says it's not. It's really not Mike. Take care. It's really not what? It's what? Who? Where? What? I don't know. I don't know what that was. Oh, Liam says, I mean, do you know where the term originated? Short version came from an anti-Christian political group in the 70s to troll. Learned it from Milo. Interesting. Oh, Born This Way. Lavatory. Caffey says, daughters need their fathers. I miss mine as he's passed on. But most of all, they need both parents in the same home as far as possible. That's not just daughters. Everyone deserves both parents. And it is unfortunate. That's why the Bible says that true religion is caring for the homeless and the widows, right? Not the homeless, the fatherless and the widows, because even in ancient times, probably especially in ancient times, men were more likely to die than women, right? So more likely to lose the father, and then it is the true religion, the important facet of religion, I suppose is the way to say it, is that you take care of the fatherless, become a father to the fatherless, and you take care of the widow. And they say a widow is a widow indeed, not someone who can remarry. But those are the people who need people to step up into those roles, right? A girl needs a male role model that's a male role model. And I know there's guys out there who are probably not naturally inclined to be the mother role character, the nurturer, and men should have a certain level of nurturing in them, but I think again, this goes way back, generation by generation, back to the 50s when they got rid of the Bibles in schools, and they got rid of the men and women gender roles, and they got rid of the husbands, they got rid of the fathers, and now we're in a world where we've got men who have taken the role of the mother in the house, and then somehow or another, their daughters are identifying with the mother role, but the mother role is identified as a man, and then it goes back to them wanting to identify as a man because their natural inclination, the natural inclination of a woman, is to be the nurturer. It just is. That's why they're mothers. So, anyways, we can't all be Malins. Oh, Silas is in the chat. What's up, Silas?
Isn't Silas here?
What?
I heard him.
I didn't hear him. Cyborg says, it was me saying that transgenderism isn't a mental illness, it's a mental condition. What's the difference? Just, come on. Don't play language police, okay? We know what we're talking about. Illness, condition, situation, gender dysphoria, which is different than body dysphoria. We don't. I don't play that here. I don't play tiptoe around language. It's what it means. We don't have to be all politically correct about it. If it hurts your feelings that I'm using the word illness instead of condition, you're watching the wrong channel. Honestly, you can believe what you want to believe. I'm not going to hate you for it, but I'm saying I'm mentally ill for being trans. Just so you know, that's inaccurate according to DSM. What's DSM? DSM. I'm not saying you're insane or anything, right? Words matter. It's not tiptoeing. It's the same thing SJWs do, reinventing definitions. But this definition has been reinvented by the very people you're probably suggesting. the DSM, because 10, 15, 20 years ago, they used the word illness, right? They use the word illness, but they've become politically correct. Diagnostic and Statistics Manual, which is what psychiatrists and psychologists use to diagnose people, and which used to call it a mental illness, correct or incorrect. So they are becoming politically correct so as not to hurt people's feelings with a word that just doesn't sound as good as condition. So I do apologize. For your sake, Cyborg Patriot, I will use the word condition. But I mean, there's so much bigger things to get hung up on. Yes, they also used to call homosexuality a mental illness. Right. And now, because of political correctness, they're trying to. It's like me not being able to call my son retarded. My son is retarded. Okay? That is the dictionary definition of his mental condition. He is developmentally slow. His development is retarded. But I can't say retarded because it's politically incorrect. I'm not one of those language police, brother, sister. I'm not sure. So you know this about me already, and you've been here with me for months and months and months. So okay, there you go. We agree. If I can use retarded, I can use illness. But for your sake, I'll try to remember to use condition. Okay? I don't mean to. Oh, dang it! I am 6 minutes over. I don't mean to offend, but I'm gonna speak the truth as well as I can. So, thanks for sticking around here, anyways, brother, sister. I don't know. You're a cyborg. You could be either. But I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everyone being here. And this was a interesting episode. I hope y'all got something out of it. I love all of you, whether you agree with me or not. And I appreciate everyone for coming back over and over. So, yeah. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, we're still pushing the Meg comic. So themegcomic.com if you want to support this channel in any way, then please support it through my Indiegogos and my business, which is themegcomic.com. And so thanks again for everyone being here. Love you all, and I'll see you later tonight on some channel or other. Maybe this one. Good night. God bless.